All right, so we're diving deep into plasterer interview prep today. Think you're ready for this?
Always ready to help someone land their dream job.
Awesome. So we're using RoleCatcher's career and interview guides to kind of guide us here.
Right.
Yeah, and these guides, they're packed with info on the plastering profession.
Everything you need to know to get ready for that interview.
Yeah. So we're going to try to make sure that by the time you're done listening to this, you walk into that interview,
Feeling confident.
yeah, feeling confident, ready to go, ready to impress.
And that's where RoleCatcher can really help you. I mean, have you ever used their AI before?
I have, yeah.
It's pretty amazing, right?
Yeah, so it analyzes those long job descriptions and helps you tailor your answers.
To hit all the right points.
Yeah, pretty cool.
So before we jump into questions, let's talk about what a plasterer actually does, like day to day.
Yeah, for sure.
The career guide gives a pretty good overview.
Yeah, it does.
It's way more than just slapping some plaster on the wall.
Oh, for sure.
You're like an artist transforming spaces,
Yeah.
bringing those designs to life.
Yeah, it's like sculpting, but with plaster.
Exactly. And there's a huge demand out there for skilled plasterers. Smooth finishes, those intricate details,
Totally. But the career guide also talks about, like, the downsides, right?
Right. It's definitely physically demanding.
Yeah.
You're often on ladders, lifting heavy materials. Safety is, like, super important in this job. You really have to know your stuff.
For sure, yeah. Safety first, always. Okay, let's get to the heart of it, the interview. What about that classic question? What made you interested in becoming a plasterer?
So many people just say, I like working with my hands. But you have to go deeper than that, Tell a story.
Right.
Were you inspired by some, like, awesome restoration project? Or maybe you're fascinated by the history of it, like decorative plaster work. Think about it.
Yeah, like I saw this incredible ceiling at an old building, and I knew that's what I wanted to do. Something like that.
Exactly. Now they'll probably ask what you find most rewarding about the work.
You can talk about transforming a space, the pride in your work, or, learning a new technique, maybe.
And this is where RoleCatcher comes in. You'll
Okay.
know exactly what skills they're looking for in that specific job. It'll even give you feedback so you can sound more confident, like you've done this a million times.
Like a personal coach.
No, totally. Okay, let's move on. What about what specific skills make you a good plasterer?
Okay, yeah.
This is your chance to show off your skills, right?
Right.
Talk about different types of plaster, like gypsum or lime, all those techniques from trowel work to spray plastering,
Yeah, and don't just, like, list them off. Explain how you use them, like, to get those flawless results. Like,
Yeah.
have you mastered Venetian plastering or something like that?
Exactly. And don't forget those soft skills, attention to detail, problem solving, those are important too.
Right, because you're rarely working alone, are you?
Never. You're always working with electricians, plumbers. It's a team effort, so teamwork's important. Which brings us to this one. Describe a time you had to work collaboratively with other tradespeople on a job.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. How would you answer that one?
It's all about teamwork.
Right?
You've got to show you can work well with others. Think of a time where maybe you had to meet a tight deadline or something unexpected came up.
Okay.
And, how you communicated, how you adapted your schedule, work together to find solutions.
Just you're a team player.
Exactly. And maybe talk about a time when you went above and beyond.
Right.
Maybe you spotted a potential problem before it became a big issue.
Oh, like being proactive.
Exactly. It shows you're valuable. Okay, this next one gets to the core of what makes a great plasterer. What separates a good plasterer from a great one?
Oh, I like that one.
It's about more than just, like, technical skill,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, of course you need the basics. But great plasterers, they're passionate about what they do, they're committed to excellence,
Yeah.
and they want to keep learning, right? So talk about that, that desire to always improve.
Like striving for perfection.
Exactly. And again, those soft skills come into play. A great plasterer is a great communicator, they're a problem solver, they take pride in their work, and they always want to do better.
It's a mindset, isn't it?
Absolutely. Okay, let's look at this one. Describe a time when you had to troubleshoot a problem on a plastering job.
Oh, yeah.
This one can be tough,
Yeah, it can.
but it's a chance to show off your problem-solving skills. Choose a situation where you faced a real challenge, like a cracked wall maybe, or running out of materials,
Right.
and walk them through how you solved it.
Yeah, how you approach the problem.
Exactly. Show them you can think on your feet, assess the situation. Did you talk to colleagues? Did you research new techniques? Or just improvise?
Right, like staying calm when things go wrong.
Exactly. And again, RoleCatcher lets you practice these tough questions and get feedback, so you're totally prepared.
That's so helpful.
It is. Okay, this next one's about balancing speed and quality. How do you ensure you work efficiently while still maintaining a high level of quality?
Because you don't want to rush and do a bad job.
You got it.
Yeah.
It's all about that balance, right?
Right.
So explain how you plan and prioritize. Do you break the project down into smaller steps? How do you manage your time?
Having a system is key.
Exactly. And then talk about how you work quickly and cleanly.
Yeah.
Minimize waste,
Yeah.
Maybe you use specific tools or techniques that help you work smarter.
Right.
And make sure they know you're always looking for ways to improve. Without sacrificing quality, of course.
Speed and precision, that's it. Right.
Right. Now, safety is always a big topic on construction sites. They might ask, how do you ensure a safe working environment while plastering?
Yeah. It's not just about, like, checking boxes of it.
Yeah.
You have to actually care about safety.
Exactly. It's about being proactive and responsible.
Right.
So start by acknowledging the hazards of plastering, like working up high or using power tools, heavy materials.
And then talk about how you mitigate those risks, like, wearing the right gear, checking your tools, keeping your work area clean.
Perfect. Oh, and don't forget about emergency procedures. What if there's an accident? Do you know where the first aid kit is?
Yeah, those things matter.
They do. Shows you take safety seriously. Okay, how about this? How do you manage your workload when you have multiple plastering jobs going at once?
That's a good question. Because a lot of plasterers probably have more than one project at a time.
Absolutely. So how do you stay organized? A calendar? To-do lists? Maybe an app?
Some kind of system.
Exactly. And how do you prioritize? Deadlines. What's most urgent?
Making those tough calls.
And good communication is key here, too. Keeping clients in the loop.
Yeah.
Letting them know about any delays.
Yeah, communication is so important.
It really is. And remember, RoleCatcher can help you prepare for all these questions.
It's such a useful tool. But we've got more to cover, right?
We do. In part 2, we'll dive into even tougher questions and talk about making a great impression. So stick around.
Sounds good.
All right, welcome back. We're diving back into those Plasterer interview questions.
Yeah, those tough ones.
Right. Let's talk about difficult clients. They'll ask you, describe a time you had to deal with a difficult client.
Oh, yeah. Every plasterer's probably dealt with that at some point.
That happens. But you got to focus on how you handled it.
Right.
Don't just complain. Give a specific example.
Okay.
Maybe there was a disagreement about the work or the demanding client, whatever it was. Walk them through how you stayed professional.
Right, like listening to their concerns and trying to find a compromise.
Exactly. Maybe you had to explain why something couldn't be done, or negotiate a change. The point is to show you can stay calm under pressure.
And find a solution.
Yeah.
And hopefully a happy ending, right? Like the client was satisfied in the end.
That's always good. Okay, let's switch gears a bit. What about career goals? They love to ask about those.
Oh, yeah. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? That kind of thing.
Exactly. Now, you might not have everything figured out, and that's okay. But you got to show you're ambitious, that you want to learn and grow.
So we could talk about mastering new skills or maybe specializing in a certain type of plastering.
Yeah, like Venetian plaster or historical restoration, something like that. And if you've done your research on the company,
Right.
you can tailor your answer to fit their specific needs.
Oh, that's smart.
Like if they do high-end residential work, you could mention your interest in decorative finishes.
You've done your homework.
Exactly. Now, we've talked a lot about answering their questions.
Yeah.
But don't forget to ask some of your own.
Oh, right. What should we ask them?
Think about the company culture, the team. You could ask about the work environment, opportunities for growth, maybe.
Okay.
Their safety practices, how they approach sustainability, things like that.
Yeah.
And definitely ask about the projects they're working on, the techniques they use,
Show that you're really interested.
Exactly. Asking good questions shows you're engaged, you're thinking critically.
Okay, as we wrap up this part, let's talk about storytelling. Storytelling in an interview.
It's a powerful tool. You can use stories to illustrate your skills and experiences.
Okay.
Think of those memorable moments in your career, the ones that show what you're capable of.
Right, like a tough project that you nailed.
Yeah.
Or a time you went above and beyond for a client.
Exactly. Instead of just listing your skills, tell a story. Bring it to life.
Okay, I get it.
Like, if they ask about your attention to detail, don't just say, I'm detail-oriented. Tell them about that time you spotted a tiny imperfection that everyone else missed.
Oh, I see.
and how you fixed it to make sure the job was perfect.
That's much more impactful.
It is. Or when they ask about problem solving, tell them about that cracked foundation you had to deal with, how you got creative and found a solution.
Right. Show them what you're made of.
Exactly. Stories make you more memorable, you
Yeah.
know, and they connect with the interviewer on a deeper level.
Makes sense. So don't forget, RoleCatcher can help you prepare for these questions.
It's like having a coach in your corner. You can practice your answers, get feedback, and feel more confident walking into that interview.
It's a great resource.
It is. We're almost done. In the final part, we'll talk about those last-minute preparations and some tips to really nail that interview.
All right, so we're in the home stretch now, the final part of our Plasterer interview prep deep dive. This is it. Game day.
Time to polish that plaster job to perfection.
Exactly. We've talked about the skills, those tricky questions, even storytelling. Now, what about those last-minute things we can do to boost our confidence?
Well, first things first, you got to go back to that job description one more time.
Oh, yeah, the roadmap, right.
Exactly. Make sure you really understand what they're looking for and how your skills match up.
So we can highlight the right things in the interview.
Right. And look for those keywords, those phrases that really stand out. Are they all about teamwork, problem solving, safety?
It's like, speaking their language, showing we get it.
Exactly. Now let's talk about, well, you. How you present yourself. What kind of impression do you want to make?
I know it's construction, so it's not like I'm wearing a suit.
No, definitely not.
But you don't want to look like you just walked off a job site either.
Right. It's about finding that balance, looking professional, but also fitting in.
So maybe clean work pants, a nice shirt, good boots.
That's a good start. And don't forget the little things. A haircut, a clean shave.
The details.
Yeah, it shows you pay attention, even to yourself.
Like if you care about how you look, you'll care about your work too.
Exactly. No, what should you bring? Definitely have a few copies of your resume.
Oh, right. Print it out nice and neat.
Exactly. Just in case, you know.
And I always like to bring a notepad and pen so I can take notes if I need to.
That's good. Shows you're paying attention. And speaking of notes, have those questions ready for the interviewer.
Oh, yeah. Those are important.
They are. It shows you're curious, that you've put some thought into this.
Makes it stand out.
It does. Okay, here's a tip. Always be early. Like 15 minutes early.
Yeah. Better early than late, for sure.
It gives you a chance to relax, gather your thoughts.
And maybe scope out the place.
Exactly. Now, before you walk in that room, take a minute for yourself.
Like a pep talk.
Kind of. Remember those mindfulness techniques? Take a few deep breaths. Visualize yourself acing those questions.
Oh, yeah. Gotta get in the zone.
Exactly. And remember, it's a conversation, not an interrogation.
Right.
Be yourself, be genuine, and let that passion for plastering shine through.
Because when you're passionate about something, people can tell, right?
They absolutely can. Okay, any last words of advice before you go in there and rock that interview?
Okay.
Believe in yourself. You've got this. You have the skills, the experience.
Yeah.
This is your chance to show them what you can do.
And even if it doesn't work out, it's good practice for next time.
Exactly. Every interview is a learning experience, so go out there and show them what you're made of.
And remember, RoleCatcher's there to help you every step of the way.
Free account, tons of resources. Go check it out.
We're rooting for you. Good luck out there.